Can come, yeah, if you want. Before Paul will start, I want to excuse the language that was used in the movie, if you know what I mean, yeah? There was some curse word and all that. So excuse for that, and don't pay attention to that. There was more reason why I wanted you guys to watch the movie, and I couldn't get the edited part where they usually mute the curse word and all that. So yeah, let's not pay attention to that. Okay?
So what should I talk about? Whether or not I like the movie?
What's your opinion about movies? General, your conclusion.
Well, are we talking about lessons or just impressions?
I want to start with impressions first.
Okay.
Before I hear lessons.
Well, I liked the movie. I wasn't sure where it was going at first, but it was very interesting, and the characters, I found myself liking a lot of them, and it was really entertaining. I think all of us really got into it near the end. We were having a lot of fun watching it, so yeah, I think it was a good movie.
Okay. So give me 2 lessons.
Okay, so 2 lessons are that one lesson is that your passion, you should be developing it in a way that makes you happy and not like other people, I guess. Because just from what Forrester was saying, like, you have to be careful. With writing, for example, after he wrote his book, it felt like everything fell apart and like he couldn't do whatever he wanted anymore. And even when more important things started happening, people still could only see his book and stuff like that. So I think you have to know what your passion is, but you have to like have a plan for your passion. So you have to know, I'm going to work on it this way, and nobody else is going to tell me how I'm going to work on it. I mean, I'm going to become the best, like what Pastor Sunday told us too. Because when Jamal was challenged near the end of the movie, through working on himself aggressively, and through Forrester overcoming his like fear to go outside and all of that, and also because by loving each other aggressively instead of fighting and stuff, Jamal didn't have to get expelled or anything like that. So it was a lesson, like a real life show of how when life gives you challenges and when your truth is challenged, or when you're challenged in your purpose or your calling, you can respond aggressively, not necessarily with violence, but by aggressively working on yourself or aggressively being peaceful, like not saying anything, like when the first time Jamal was being harassed by that teacher. And of course that what am I going to say? That anybody can achieve great things, and that it doesn't depend on what you look like or where you've come from or what other people think you should be. You can be successful.
Yeah, awesome. Let's put our hands together for Paul. Thank you. I really like the way she kind of connect what Pastor Sunday is saying about fighting for your truth, right? It's really nice. So if Adia Solar, right? Yes. If wow, where is that Solar coming? That's the surname. Yeah. Wow, this is truly morning. Okay. When we're watching the movie, I was thinking more about you. I don't know why, because I know you write, and I know you must have found it very interesting. So I can't wait to hear your opinion, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I really liked the movie. Firstly because it had stuff to do with writing in it, so I kind of picked up a lot of the tips he was giving Jamal and stuff from that. But also because it was kind of, I don't know, it just wasn't common for that kind of circumstance to lead to something good. Like normally when you see movies with like, I don't know, a young person of color and then an older white person, there's usually some sort of conflict that keeps them like separated. But because the guy took the time to like see how he was using his gift in his essays and stuff, it kind of bridged the gap so they could connect on something on a more personal level. The two lessons I got from it, firstly, was I found it really interesting how instead of after the first time of being, after Jamal got caught in the apartment, he didn't like just stay away completely. He like took the opportunity to go back after he got his essays like written on and see if he could like get more advice on that. So by taking that chance, I guess he was able to propel his future. And if he didn't do that, then his story wouldn't exist. And also with Forrester, when after Jamal took him to the football stadium, he kind of found the courage to try new things. Like he went out on his bike for the first time, and he went back to the school and presented himself after years of being in hiding. So I think the two lessons I got from it was like, take opportunities even if you don't think they'll amount to anything. They could benefit you in the future, even though you may not see it now. And also, you should try and do things that you are afraid of or haven't done in a while because you're not sure of how the outcome will be, and it normally turns out better than you expected.
Yep, thank you. Awesome. Next is you. What's it? Okay, why are you not wearing it? Something wrong with it? You don't, okay, come to me. Well, there are many ways to do it. You could just click it. Okay.
What I got from the movie is like, you shouldn't really like discriminate because someone's black or because somebody's white. You should like love everyone. And yeah, that's what I got from the movie.
Just like everyone. That's it, nothing else. Did you watch it to the end? You were here to the end, I remember.
Yeah. And I especially like the part when Jamal took Forrester to the football stadium, and then he remembered everything about his brother.
Yeah.
And how his brother was fighting for the war, and then he died after. I especially like that part in the film, and what I thought it meant to me was like, it's because some things may knock you down in life, you should always get back up, and yeah, that's what I know.
Awesome. Thank you. Who wants to go? Yes?
Maybe we should ask for a ride for that.
Oh, yeah. Can you do that? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, come.
I really liked the movie and it was really interesting. And what I learned from it was the first thing was that when Jamal went to go back to see the author Forrester, he was easily able to trigger him by saying rude things about him, and he just wanted to see what his reaction was. So basically, it was just a test saying that anybody can trigger you, but you have to be able to help yourself to not get that easily triggered by what someone says about you. And the other thing I also learned was that that anybody can get you to do something you never thought you could do before. He was able to get him to come outside and go to the football stadium with him, kind of like in the story Life is an Opportunity, when his the blind pilot, when he was able to when his brother taught him that he can do anything no matter if he's blind or anything has happened to him.
Awesome. Nice. Thank you. Let's put our hands together for her. I like the way she connect the book with the movie, right? I was actually about to ask somebody. I'm thinking, who would that person be, to give me how did you, ooh, how did you see opportunity? What are the opportunities you see in the book? Maybe Esther, you help us to find out. What is your general conclusion about the movie, and then what are the opportunities that were in the movie that Jamal had? That if not because he did what he did, he would have missed some opportunity, right? If you can help us.
Yeah, I found the movie very inspirational and interesting because it taught me that you shouldn't allow yourself to be dominated by other people, especially with Jamal and his English literature teacher, because there's one thing that Forrester said that people don't understand to analyze, and the teacher failed to analyze Jamal, and he automatically thought, okay, he's black, he's young, he's just troublesome, and he doesn't he's probably just here out of pity because he comes from the ghetto. And so it also, with the book Life is an Opportunity, Jamal, in chapter 8, it talks about how you have to go through troubles in order to find your opportunities, that you're going to go through troubles and you're going to go through crises and ups and downs and probably come across some things that you don't know what to do. So when you do come across those things and you overcome, that's where your opportunity comes. Because even though Jamal was, being put down by his teachers and probably some other students, especially during basketball, the guy he was playing basketball with, he didn't allow that to bring him down. And he also sought an opportunity with Forrester, because even though he broke into his place as for fun for his with his gang, it also opened doors for him at the same time, because Forrester looked at his work and obviously he marked him down because he wasn't obviously the best just yet. So he also Jamal wanted to be the best in himself. He wanted to better himself, and he was determined to do that. So even though Forrester was rejecting him quite a lot, he was still determined to get the best out of him.
Thank you. Awesome. I really liked the way you point out about him and his friends. I was kind of worried maybe you guys wouldn't get that part, because sit properly. He had this kind of, awkward friends, yeah, where they just, hang around, play, do all stupid things and all that. But there was just something about him that makes him different, outstanding, right? Did you guys notice that part? Even when they were all, I'll come to you. Even they were all playing and all that, there's just, I don't know if it was genetic or something, or maybe from home, I don't know, but something just helped me stood out, even among his friends. But I think he decided to be the way he is, in my opinion. It's a decision. Because he would have ended up like them, but he ended up, getting to a private school and playing football and basketball and all that. So, yeah, that's really nice. You want to add something?
Yeah. About the friends that he had, that was another lesson that I noticed during the movie, but I forgot to mention it when I was up here, that when he was debating whether or not to go to the private school or not, Forrester was like, you're going to go to that school. And then Jamal was like, well, how do you know that? And then because Forrester said, well, because you're trying to find out what to do with your life, and the environment that you're in now, it doesn't give you an answer to that. So I think that that's a lesson, that if you're in any environment that isn't helping you go towards your goal, yes, and to become your best self, then you should leave that one, yes, and find a better company. Just like because Jamal found the company of Forrester, he became such a great writer that shocked all his teachers and literally had more understanding than his teachers.
Yeah, right. Awesome. Brilliant. Let's put our hands together for Pearl. Who next? Zoe?
Two lessons?
I would like you to talk more about the opportunities.
Okay, so Forrester saw an opportunity to change.
What is your general opinion about the movie? And,
Thought the movie was well done. Good idea. And it was like a mix of slight chance but believable. And it got all the characters seem very realistic.
okay.
So can I talk about the lessons now?
Yeah.
Okay. So Forrester took an opportunity to help a student when he corrected his work in the backpack and then threw it back to him through the window. Even when he was trying to get him to stay away, shouting at him to right why I want you to leave, not to come back. He still graded his essay. And even though he tried to be mean at first because he wanted to keep his secret unknown and stay inside and never go outside, now he still takes opportunities to help if he can. Also, he taught Jamal to not to assume things about others, not to judge others. In the beginning of the movie, you see Jamal threatening this, not threatening, but telling this driver, I'm not going to do anything to your car, don't worry. And the man didn't do anything because he thought the man looked worried, but the man was wearing sunglasses, so we couldn't tell if he was worried or not. But he was always on the defense because of what he's been through. And then later, Forrester taught him not to assume about other people because he assumes everyone that's white pretty much hates him and how to get him. Because he has that talk with Forrester after the teacher comes and tells him that, maybe you're plagiarizing. But what he doesn't know is that the teacher tried to defend him first because someone else came to him. But he just assumes that the teacher hates him and everything. So Forrester is not a hypocrite because he didn't judge Jamal at all. And even when that guy came into his room and gave him socks and all the shopping stuff, he didn't tell him to hide or anything.
Yes.
So 2 lessons from that were not to assume and not to be judgmental, and not to be a hypocrite.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I thank you for mentioning the guy that brings Forrester stuff, the BMW guy, right? I really like in the beginning when they started talking about the car. Oh, when he was trying to be protective of his car. And Jamal was like, okay, so is it because I'm black? You think I don't know about car? Then he started telling him stuff about it. He even knew more than the guy that had the BMW. That was really cool, what he said, how they started making planes before, making, I never even knew the history of BMW, and I love BMW. But he even made me to even love BMW more. Yeah, awesome. Okay, moving on. Veronica, do you want to go next? Why? Did you understand the movie? Uh-huh. So what little bit did you understand? It's good for you, you're practicing your English. Yes. And you're doing great, by the way. Yeah, guys, what do you think?
In my opinion, the movie was very cool, and I took a few, how to say it, practical knowledge for me. If even anyone, it doesn't depend who is it, the boy or girl said that can't do anything, you should go on your way, because if you will put task for you, you should go straight and don't
Go and answer that.
you should not pay attention for their opinion, and you should stay on your opinion and go straight. Because in our life it is very important. 90% of the people around the world worry about people's opinion. They thought that even if my best friend or even parents said that it is not good, you should think that you have only one truth, and it will help you in the future to become like popular or to become even successful. And I want to say that this boy Forrester, yes, um, yes, they together give me possibility and give me opportunity to realize that even if I want to be successful, I should stay on my truth.
Yes. Woo, awesome. Thank you. Once again, she connected the movie to what Pastor Sunday's teaching, right? The truth. And the best part, what I liked, what she said, is that it doesn't matter who tells you what. Really, if you know your truth, you should fight for it and hold on to that, because that is what will save you, right? Not what other people think about you. That is their problem. People always will have their opinion. Yeah. So who is next? Joy or you? Okay. Yeah. Sadie, come.
Jamal wasn't looking at the way his friends were acting or what they were doing and how they acted in life. Instead of following them and doing the same things as them, he decided to go his own way and do his own things and mind his own business instead of being like them. And
So what is your opinion about the movie? You liked it?
yeah, I liked it.
In general, you liked it?
Yeah.
Yes. So, what did you think about his school? Remember, at first he was having a problem with his school, but then he started having a problem with his teacher when he changed his school. So,
Yeah, he was having problem with his old school. When he changed schools, the same thing was happening with his teacher. And when his teacher was telling him all this, he decided to actually go and practice more times 2 harder than he was before, so that he could be the best in that English class.
awesome. Is that all? Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Sadie, for mentioning the work part. That even though his teacher was giving him hard time, there was a moment where I really felt sorry for him, because when everything was going on, he didn't even tell his mom. Did you guys notice that? He didn't tell his brother. He was really struggling. And it almost, I think the first time I watched that movie, I cried at the part where when the teacher, just shut him down and he was just there all by himself. I kind of see myself in him. I was like, okay, like that was a moment for him to make a decision. And it could be any decision. It could be a stupid decision. It could be crazy. It could be bad. It could be good. He would have decided, okay, let me just leave this school alone. But he made a decision to go back to Forest. Thank God. In my opinion, I would like to tell you guys that you're gonna face situations like that, where because of your truth you're being attacked of your truth, or you're struggling with your truth, or somebody is trying to tell you otherwise than more than what you know. You have to fight. You can't just say, oh, she said I'm white, so I'm done. Oh, I'm black, or no, this, or no. That is even the more reason to fight. You know why? Because it means you're doing something right. But the big one that I want to tell you guys is, please don't fight or don't struggle alone. He had Forrester. That was what saved him. He is too young. He was just 16. If he didn't had Forrester to go and tell him all his frustration and all that, who knows what he have done? He will have, who knows? Remember, he's from the ghetto, as Esther said. He will have gone to do something stupid. I don't know, whatever could be that could be, okay? So if you don't feel so comfortable to go to your parents, which I would advise you to always go to your parents, you could find an adult that you trust and talk to. This is what I'm going through. This is what somebody is telling me in school or somewhere that I'm not okay with and that. But it has to be an adult that is responsible and you can trust. I repeat, an adult that is responsible and you could trust. It could be an adult that you grew up with, you knew all your life, that you know, okay, it's okay for me, to talk to this person. Sometimes it could be your teachers. We all have favorite teachers, don't we? You could trust them and talk to them. But I would highly recommend you go first to your parents. Even though I know parents, sometimes they can be so protective. I have parents. Yeah, I know. Okay, next. Who is next? You want to go next? Janet? Yeah. You guys have all the JJ names, yeah? I'm just seeing that. Wow, the J's. Isn't that cool?
I liked the film that we watched yesterday, and I learnt a couple of things. First, like you said that he had Forrester, so I learnt that it's always good for you to have like you said, like someone who's responsible and trustworthy that you can talk to and that you can go to, and someone not just like you can talk to, but someone who can like nurture and help you to grow in like your talent and develop your skills with you, so that like you don't sort of waste opportunities. And then I also liked the part where he threw the bag out of the window with the notes in, and when he got home he realized that he had like drawn on his notes and like scribbled on them and marked them, and like Jamal could have had like a bad attitude and said like you didn't have a right to like marking my work and all that stuff, but he took the constructive criticism and helped it to like make him better. And that taught me as well that you shouldn't just like, when people are correcting you, should take it well and like take it and use it to help you develop as well. And then I also, like for me, the part where they were in the class and the English teacher was saying, he would say the beginning of the sentence and Jamal finished his sentence for him. At the beginning, it was like he was showing like Jamal was showing like how much skill he knows and stuff like that. But then like it ended up in him being like sent out of the class and everything. And I saw like at the end, like after he'd finished, he said like, come on, to the teacher. And like for me, it was a lesson like, don't allow like everything you know to like get to your head. Like you need to have humility. Like you may know so much, but you still need to be humble with it. Because after that, it was like he got kicked out of the class and then he got withdrawn from the competition, and then the board wanted to take him out of basketball, and then he lost the basketball match. So it was like pride came before his fall. Like then after that, everything kept on going wrong. So, and like what Pastor Sandra was saying yesterday, like Jesus, with all that he knows, his disciples would still like lie on his bosom and everything. So like even with all your power and all your knowledge, you should still be humble.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I like the part where she talked about you taking discipline. Yeah? Sometimes when you're being disciplined, it doesn't mean the person doesn't love you. It doesn't, that's not what is it about. It's just to remind you that you did something not right at that particular time, or you need to fix something, or you need to learn something, or you need to be conscious of something. There is a reason why you get disciplined. And actually, for me, discipline even comes with love. If I don't love you, I won't discipline you. I'll come to you, okay? If I don't love you, I'm like, okay. I think, and that's even the Bible says something about that. I just can't remember the verse where he said, he chested the ones he loves, something like that. I don't remember the Bible verse. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, there's a place where the Bible says about that he okay, yes, that's another verse. Yeah, but there's a particular one that says he punished those he loves, something like that. I don't know. If you can Google it, maybe Google will help us. So thank you for mentioning that out, right? And then I like the part where you talked about the humility, which you connected to Pastor Sunday. Sometimes we know the truth, But because we're too proud, we like, oh, what is she saying? After all, no, I'm not stupid. No, really. You just have to humble yourself to get the best you can get from any situation, okay? Inisi, you wanted to say something? Sure. Who is next? Abiola, you'll be the one next.
So I learned that the only criticism you should really take is constructive rather than destructive, or rather than degrading. Well, that wasn't really criticism, but yeah. Because the only stuff that because he took so many things on board, like when the white guy was the teacher, when he started, he tried to show him up, but he proved him wrong. He took those comments, he took obviously what he was feeling about him, he took it to heart, which was his downfall, as Jasmine said. I lied, sorry. Yeah, as she said. Yeah, but the constructive criticism that he took from Forrester helped him grow as a writer, and all the destructive comments, like not even just comments, like when that white guy with the BMW at the beginning of the movie, when he wasn't even really saying anything to him, but he was just being protective, and it was how he was acting. He took that to heart, which is something that you should avoid doing, because not everything is about you, and not everything is going to be about your color or something. And you shouldn't think that just that all a certain group of people is the same, because that's ignorant, and it's gonna close many doors for you. And yeah, the constructive. So basically, what I took from that is constructive. You should really only take the constructive criticism to heart, and you should only use that to help you develop your skills. And you shouldn't worry about what other people say about you if it's not the truth, and if you know it's not the truth, because in the end, if you know it's not the truth, then really, I just don't get why you would get angry, because it's just if you know the truth and you know that that's how it is, and people are saying otherwise, it doesn't matter, because you know that is the truth, and it's not going to change just because someone else thinks that it's not that. So, and I think it helped. It kind of taught me all the lessons that Pastor Sunday was talking about, because it basically tied in everything about the truth, knowing the truth, and no one can change the truth, and the truth will come out anyway, and everything will work out if you stay strong in the truth. And it just helped me have a more complex understanding. Even with my notes, I didn't really get it that well, but the movie helped me with that. So
awesome. Thank you. Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. I like the part where you said you shouldn't make everything about you. Sometimes everything is not just about you, because when you keep making things all about you, then you miss the part, you miss the point, or you miss the opportunity, or you miss what is going on. So don't always think, oh, it's me this, oh, she's talking to me because I'm this, I'm this. Maybe it's not just that. Maybe it's just happened because it's happening, or maybe it happens to everybody. And lastly, also you said about you shouldn't just, put people in a certain group because, I don't know, because of their religion or race or color or whatever it is. That is not fair. Everybody is an individual, right? Pastor Sunday always teaches that everybody, people, although he teaches that people should have a personality, but everybody is an individual. Even twins are individual. They're different. They think differently. So you can't just put people in one group and assume that that's not fair. Okay, Adele, I think you're next. Bajana, you've not said, right? Have you? Okay. Maybe you go up, yeah. Oh, yes. So what's the verse?
Proverbs 13:24 says, "Those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children."
Okay, can you please give her the mic? Let her read it loud.
There are two scriptures that kind of go with what you're saying. Proverbs 13:24 says, "Those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children care enough to discipline them." And Proverbs 27:6 says, "Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy."
There you go. That is very true. Thank you. Okay.
Um, should I talk about my opinion first?
Yes.
I found the movie like really interesting, even though like halfway it was kind of confusing. But after like him and Forrester started to interact more, it became more clear.
Yeah.
But I found it really inspirational in a way, and it just like yeah, everyone was getting into it, and it was just really, it was a good film. I enjoyed it. So one of the things that I really got from it was when his first school called in his mum to talk about his test results, and the teacher was saying that how his test results are so good, but yet the people that he hang around is like stopping him from achieving what he could. So from that, I got like, it's important that even though you may be surrounded by people you like or people that you feel comfortable with, they may not necessarily be the best company for you reaching success and achieving or fulfilling your purpose. And after he went to his new school, and his teachers realized that his classwork wasn't as good as his test results, I feel like it reflects on how before when he was in class and how he'd always be like, oh yeah, I don't know this, I don't know that, and yet he'd still be doing so well. I feel like that reflected when he even moved schools. So it's like his mindset hadn't fully changed, which he then changed by the end, so it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Awesome. Thank you. Put your hands together for her. Okay, we have 15 more minutes to go. The ladies behind are helping us. They said you should maybe do some exercise before, I don't know, before we continue. But I would suggest we do that before Pastor Sundays come, before we start. So we've not finished. We have 2 more people. When we finish, then we do that, okay? Okay, but let's finish here first.
If you're tired, I would like to show you some very nice exercises for your breathing, how to breathe properly, and you will have more energy.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Vera.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Bajana, you're next. When would that be? After Daniel. I thought you were a girl, so you should go first. Okay, Daniel, you're next.
Well, firstly, I thought the movie was good. I thought that it taught a lot of lessons. Yeah.
You didn't tell us what the lessons are.
I'm going to. Firstly, I wrote that learn not to fall under stereotypes and common stigmas. That what distinguishes a person from others is his or her knowledge or skill that is different from what the masses know. And this was evident in his name, in Jamal, because just because he was playing basketball with other of his friends, it was assumed that like he was among them like the masses, but like if you go in depth like to the individual themselves, each and everybody has potential and has something that distinguishes them from each other. So we should not try to fall under certain stereotypes or stigmas that classify us in the society. And I also wrote that I also noticed that in the real world, people don't give you things without expecting something in return. That is why you should not depend on man, because when they gave him an offer to try to get him out of the tension that has already been built up, to let him like stay in the school when they were planning to take him under the committee or try to expel him. They told him that the only way they could allow him to stay is if he did the winning shot, like. So like so because of that, I wrote that in the real world, people don't give you things without expecting something in return. And also, I recorded that a mentor is necessary on the road to success. That a mentor is necessary in the road to success. It ties in with what Pastor Bosse was talking about yesterday. As children, we have a lot of people around us to help support us. And the mentors, our parents, even our teachers, they on our road and our journey of life to our final destination, like it is important to get people to help us, because individually we can't do anything. Even pastors, like grown men of God, don't do things by themselves. They depend on God. So we need to form relationships with people, and that's what helps take us to our final destination. And the way you think today isn't the way you think in the future. So therefore, do not ever stop growing yourself, because what the forester said is that if he knew what he knew right now, he would have, I think, only done one book or so. I can't remember what he said exactly. But it means that we think that whatever decision we make now is the best decision, but we forget that it is flawed because it is only based on what we currently know. But we should know that in the future, when we grow up more, or we mature more, we start thinking differently. And therefore, because we start thinking differently, we should never stop trying to grow ourselves, like try to add to ourselves. We should never be like content in our current place.
Okay, awesome. Wow. Thank you. Hope you guys got something from Daniel. Yes. And also Adele. I get a little bit distracted. I would have loved to ask you, but we have a few minutes. We have to talk to Bajana, then do the exercise before Pastor Sunday comes. So please, Bajana, you're next. And Joy, you didn't say anything, yeah? Yeah, Nisi went upstairs. But I believe with everything we have been saying, have you got something? Yeah, I know you can say something, but I'm talking to Inisi. With everything we've shared, have you got something? Do you now have the idea of the movie we watched? Are you paying attention to your book or what? Okay. Joy, so you can say something, yeah? You watch some, huh? I didn't get. Oh, it's okay.
Oh, I really enjoyed that movie, and I think that what is the name? Yes. Jamo, yes, the name of the. He had his truth, and he knew his goal. And he tried to be the best in things that he was doing, and I think that Forrester helped him very much. He was teaching him, and Jamo became the best student in his class. And he started to read books and started to write poems and he became the better player in basketball.
Yes.
Yes. And this all is because Forrester helped him. He mentored him, and he became the best friend for Jemo. And I think that this is very important, that your teacher have to be your friend. Yes. And he helped him, and Jemo helped Forrester. And it is very important for me.
Thank you. Awesome. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Bajana. She said something that nobody mentioned. She talked about friendship. Oh, Lord. At the end, he said something about, there was a statement he made, Forrester.
Yeah, he was reading out the thing, and he said that it's kind of like when family dies, you learn some things. But right now, I have experienced the gift of friendship, and it was so great.
Yes.
Not only had
Yes.
raised up Jamal, but Jamal had even raised up Forrest.
Awesome. Thank you. Please, let's put our hands together for Pearl.